Giza Dream Bed Sheets for $59.98.
There we are.
That's right. And the king size, just $69.98. That's the lowest price in history. Mike and MyPillow employees continue to be canceled.
There we are. I didn't have the camera on. Sorry.
By the media, so they definitely appreciate all your great.
That's not a good start to a Monday show when you're in delay and when you don't have the camera on. It happens. It happens. It happens.
MyPillow.com and use my promo code.
Shouldn't happen, but it happens. It's happening because it was my mistake. Accountability. Imagine that. In our culture today, who's accountable for anything? Nobody.
MyPillow.com promo code Bruce.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000.
All right, let's do a little on the Ohio Power Sighting Board. Wouldn't that be nice?
CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-353-2973 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-353-2973. That's 800-353-2973. Never lose. Call 800-353-2973. Again, 800-353-2973.
Dark in here?
It's easy and profitable to be kind to others when you enter the Kindness Challenge. Each day for 30 days, we'll post a new act of kindness that you can do for others. On April 15th, you could win $2,500, and a deserving organization will also receive $2,500 in your name. You can make a difference.
Let me spell your name, Megan.
When you enter the Kindness Challenge.
Get all the details and enter today at 989theanswer.com. That's 989theanswer.com.
Steak. Today, warmer day. Maybe you want to get out there and grill. You got to have a great steak if you're going to put the time into grilling it. You don't want to just get a tough piece of meat from the grocery store that's not USDA Choice or Prime. You won't have that problem if you subscribe to riverbendranchsteaks.com. Easy website to navigate. Pick your own bundle, have it shipped right to your door every month, every other month. Riverbend Ranch, I'd never heard of that, Bruce. Tell me about it. Okay, Riverbend Ranch is out west. It's in Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, and other states. It's massive. It would have to be to ship beef all over the U.S., all Black Angus beef, bred to exact specifications where the genetics of the animal predict the very best marbling. That's why they can guarantee you that it will be USDA Choice and Prime. They built a $160 million processing plant right on the ranch. You won't get that with Good Ranchers. You won't get it with Omaha Steaks. You won't get it with Moink or any other service. They'll charge you more and you'll get less in terms of the quality of the beef. No hormones, no antibiotics ever. Book your bundle today and have it on your doorstep soon. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. Do it today. All right, I have decried and will continue to decry the lack of accountability in our culture. So I have to own my mistake in the opening segment. I had the wrong button pressed. Operator error on the board. That is why we were in delay and why the first segment was a little bit halting. That is my fault, my fault, my fault, my fault. I only wish our appointees to the Ohio Power Sighting Board were as accountable as I was just now with you. And I don't mean to present myself as the paragon of accountability, but none of the 7 members of the Ohio Power Sighting Board appointed by Governor Mike DeWine seem to be, well, I can't say none of the 7. Some of the 7 are not accountable at all. We're still waiting for clarity on whether some of the 7 are accountable at all. And I present this not because it's a relevant issue, the green lighting of Bill Gates' 6,000-acre solar farm in Madison County, as much as it's indicative of the lack of accountability on the part of our appointed officials and even elected officials too. But last week, the Ohio Power Sighting Board, despite the objections of local residents in Madison County, approved the Bill Gates 6,000-acre solar farm. So I thought, all right, let's go take a look and see who's on the board to find out why they approved it. And they're all Governor DeWine appointees. You've got Jennifer French, the head of the Public Utilities Commission. You got Mary Mertz, Ohio Department of Natural Resources. You got Mr. COVID, Frady Cat, Bruce Vanderhoff, Director of Health. You got Ann Vogel, Director of the Ohio EPA. You got Lydia Mahalik, Director of Development. You got Brian Baldridge, Director of the Department of Agriculture. So that's where I started. I just wanted to hear the response from, hey, you guys voted for this. Why did you vote for it? The local residents don't want it. You guys probably have more information, maybe you think, than the local residents. So why didn't you vote for it? So I sent an email to Mr. Baldridge, again, the head of the Department of Agriculture. And email was pretty simple. I'd like to interview you about your position on the Oak Run solar farm. Here's the response I got from his public relations person. Hello, Bruce. I received your request. We will not be able to provide an interview. And I emailed back and I said, you will not be able to provide an interview. Why? Would it be incorrect for me to draw the conclusion that Governor DeWine's appointees are unaccountable to their voters on matters of great concern to the citizenry? And I got a more terse response the second time, as I could have predicted. The Ohio Department of Agriculture politely declines the interview at this time. Well, I don't know, politely, but you declined it. Okay, so let's go somewhere else. Let's go to another state agency. And let's see what the response was from the, oh, that's my original email, sorry. I got so many of these out to so many agencies that here's from Ann Vogel. And again, to refresh your memory, Ann Vogel is the director of the Ohio EPA. Now, this would seem to be a good place to go as well, right? The Ohio EPA. I mean, they're supposed to care about the environment. Their very name is what? Ohio Environmental Protection Agency. They're about environmental protection. There's a lot of conversation, debate, disagreement out there about whether solar farms protect the environment or not. So, I mean, if Baldridge, who apparently was term limited out or something in the Ohio General Assembly, and so he fell into a cushy position appointed by Governor DeWine, if he's not going to talk for the farmers out in Madison County, if he's not going to explain himself, then certainly Ann Vogel would be a great place to go. So I got an email back, several emails back, about her availability on the show. And this was interesting. Now, they haven't turned me down yet, but I got an email from the media coordinator for the Ohio EPA Central District. They say, I understand you're wanting to interview Ohio EPA Director Ann Vogel on the Oak Run Solar Farm project. Would you be able to send me the questions you have? No, I would not be able to send you those because I don't do that. I don't preview my interview. This is, again, I'm sure if you get people maybe from other organizations that will preview what they're going to ask you. I don't do that. I've never done that. Nor should any real journalist ever do that. And so I just said, well, I mean, pretty obvious. I said I'm going to interview you about the Oak Run Solar Farm, but as for the particulars of that, no, I'm not going to do it. And then here's the email from the PUCO. Hi, Bruce. Thanks for reaching out about the Ohio Power Siting Board. Unfortunately, we can't give interviews. Let me make sure I got this all 100% right because the other side of my email cut off. So let's see what Matt Schilling, that's unfortunate, right? When you're a PR person for an organization and your last name is Schilling, that's just an unfortunate coincidence. Here we are. Mr. Schilling says, thanks for reaching out about the Ohio Power Siting Board decision on Oak Run. Unfortunately, we can't grant an interview as the board speaks through its written opinion and orders. I didn't ask for the board. I asked for the person from the PUCO. I asked to name the person specifically, Jennifer French, who is the chair of the board, but she's also the chair of the PUCO. That's who I asked for. Why can't she come to the phone and do an interview? And he says, there's an appeal process. You have 30 days to seek a rehearing, blah, 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 blah. What do we learn from all this scenario? Lack of accountability, lack of respect for voters, for the citizens of the state of Ohio. Now, you could say none of these people were voted into their positions, and you'd be right. They were not voted in. They were flown in on the magic carpet coattails of the pocket governor, Mike DeWine. They're all political appointees, none of whom were elected, yet they have great and grand and sweeping influence over things that affect you, me, and other voters in the state of Ohio. Will they dare come to the phone and explain themselves as to why they, in a county that has already committed 4,000 acres to solar, commit 6,000 more acres to solar? Is that something that is part of their perceived responsibility to voters in the state of Ohio? No, it's not. It's not. Let them eat cake. Let them have solar. Let them get 44 miles of roads built out in rural areas where there are no roads now, but will be in the future without anyone getting to weigh in.
This is an SRN News special report. The Trump judgment partially delayed. I'm Rich Thomason. A New York appeals court has agreed to block collection of former President Trump's $454 million civil fraud judgment if he puts up $175 million within 10 days. If the former president complies, this would stop the clock on collection and would prevent the state from seizing his assets, business properties, and homes while he appeals. The development comes just before New York Attorney General Letitia James, who campaigned on a pledge to get Donald Trump, was expected to initiate efforts to collect judgment. Earlier in the week, the former president's lawyers pleaded for a state appeals court to halt the collection. They argued it was a practical impossibility to get an underwriter to sign off on such a large, unprecedented judgment totaling $454 million. This has been an SRN News special report. I'm Rich Thomason.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Oil and natural gas keep going up as the Russia conflict escalates. Get in on the next major oil boom now and help the U.S. with your patriotic investment that can potentially pay you monthly income for up to 20 or more years. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you're an SEC accredited investor and have at least $25,000 liquid now, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects and a huge tax savings for this year. If you invest in oil and natural gas, you're allowed to write off nearly 100% of your investment in the first year. Goldman Sachs is projecting oil to go up to $100 a barrel, and natural gas is the fuel of the future and trading at record prices. Call 800-287-6691. Encore Energy is a major investor and experienced operator in its core area of operations. Call now and learn how to deduct 100% of your investment and create 20 or more years of potential monthly income. Call 800-287-6691. That's 800-287-60.
Because truth is not a left-wing value, and the left lies as easy as
Interesting.
You need the clarity and wisdom of Dennis Prager. Every weekday afternoon from 1
Trump's bond was hacked more than in half.
The answer.
Who made that decision?
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com, and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Seth Polhouse brings hope and insight as he fights against socialism and communism on the Man in America podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
The role of the digital world in shaping our perception of the real world cannot be overlooked. It seems like all these mechanisms are dividing us in endless ways.
Subscribe to Man in America today on Apple, Spotify, Google, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
What do you want your future to be like? Invest in your education today, something that no one can take away from you. Ohio Christian University's online programs for working adults give you the flexibility to take one class at a time to fit your busy schedule. Our programs range from business to psychology and substance abuse counseling. Classes begin on March 19, 2024. Take the next step and call 844-726-7937 today to learn more, or go to ohiochristian.edu/apply.
News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM, The Answer, anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 989theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Natural products, the way to go. Stay away from benzenes and nitrates and other things you can't pronounce. They're in their toothpaste, they're in your mouthwash, they're in your deodorant, they're in the materials that you wash your clothes with, clean your countertops with. What are they doing to your skin? What are they doing to your health? You don't know. I can tell you. I have a better alternative. It is patriotswitch.com/Bruce products. Shipped right to your door, shipping $10 a month and credited back to your account the following month. So you can buy more products because they have 450 plus products, nutritional supplements and vitamins and makeup for women and all kinds of things that you're buying now at big box stores from companies that donate to causes you don't support. The people behind patriotswitch.com donate to the police. They donate to pro-life causes. And their products are better for you because they're all made from plants. Again, shipped right to your door. It's a membership club. You got to join. You can leave your information and I'll reach out and tell you how at patriotswitch.com/Bruce. That's patriotswitch.com/Bruce. Well, they are so proud of their editorial at the Columbus Dispatch that Christopher Columbus is a historical scumbag. It's actually a letter to the editor. I don't know why they would publish it. I guess any idiot can get something published. Unless, of course, you're a conservative. Then you can't. They just think you're an idiot. But here's the thing about Columbus. How big do you think the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria were? How big? These big, like, ocean-safe vessels. No. The longest ship, the biggest of the ships, was 60 feet stem to stern, 60 feet. The others were around 50 feet. Yeah. Remember, the debate was, is the earth flat, is the earth round? So Christopher Columbus showed more courage, bravery, valor, and belief in his people than the people at the Columbus Dispatch or all the other lefties out there who just want to disparage him. Here's the thing, Dispatch, if you want to show a modicum of the bravery and valor that Christopher Columbus displayed, why don't you come out with an initiative to rename the city? I mean, after all, if Columbus was such a terrible person, a colonizer, someone who, did horrible, terrible, evil things to the people that he found here. If he was that bad of a guy, a scumbag, which is the word in the headline, and I know the letter writer didn't write the headline, then why don't you come out and get in, maybe run out to OSU Scarlet and catch Andrew Ginther doing what he does every day the weather's nice, golfing, and hit him up to change the name of the city to Woketown or Leftyville or something like that. I mean, if you're really going to get behind an idea that Columbus was a scumbag, then prove it, rather than just taking pot shots from afar. Speaking of taking pot shots from afar, did you see over the weekend that Congressman Mike Gallagher, supposedly one of the good guys, supposedly a conservative Republican, has resigned from the U.S. House of Representatives? Now, Gallagher had already said that he was not going to run for a fifth term, but how he's resigning is what is noteworthy. He is delaying the date of his resignation's effect until April the 19th. Why don't you just resign now, Mike Gallagher? Because if he resigned right now, a successor could be appointed to take his seat. And that successor in a district that Gallagher has won, let's go through the numbers, shall we? 72 to 16. Then the next time he ran, 64 to 36. Then the next time he ran, 64 to 36. And then the next time he ran, 63 to 37. So he's won 4 terms. So it's a conservative district, but his resignation is not effective until April the 19th. Why? Because then it is past the deadline where a successor can be appointed, thus reducing the Republican majority in the House of Representatives to the point where only one Republican will be able to defect from a vote and still have the vote pass the House. So Mike Gallagher, while he comes off on Hugh Hewitt's show and other shows, Fox News and others, as, oh, a dyed-in-the-wool conservative, somebody who's really fighting, somebody who's anti-TikTok, and somebody who's, you know, pro-secure the southern border and all that, chairman of the House Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the U.S. and China. Oh, he's always sounding the alarm about China. Always. Chairman of the Armed Services Subcommittee on Cyber. He is intentionally imperiling the Republican majority in the House of Representatives. I don't know why, other than he's not a big Trump guy. And he probably doesn't care for the fact that the House is listening to Donald Trump on the border, or who knows what. But Mike Gallagher, not Mike Gallagher, the radio host, Mike Gallagher, the congressman, a very disappointing decision by him. Serve your voters until the end. They've elected you. What did I say? His worst margin was 64 to 36. Like, you don't owe those people to represent them until the end of the term. He's got more important things to do, I guess. Now, we know that Ohio is going to be the center of much political reporting as we work our way toward the November election. Not necessarily because Ohio is in play presidentially. It is thought not to be, given the fact that Trump has won the state the last two elections by significant margins, but because, of course, is he four-term Senator Sherrod Brown, or three-term? Feels like four. Three, I believe. Three-term Senator Sherrod Brown is thought to be in more trouble in this election than he has been in any other. He's taken down Mike DeWine. He's taken down Josh Mandel. He's taken down Jim Renacci. He faces Westlake, Ohio businessman Bernie Moreno, an outsider, a legal immigrant, a guy who is firmly aligned with Donald Trump. And that is why the lefties are nervous about Sherrod Brown not winning another term to the Senate, because that would imperil the Democratic majority in the Senate, which is thin, one vote. And John Tester of Montana is also thought to be in trouble because he's running against a very popular candidate, Tim Sheehy. And Joe Manchin is not running in West Virginia. He's retired, and it's a good thing he did, because if he didn't, Jim Justice would have retired him without any kind of question at all in that particular race. So Sherrod Brown is trying to run as man of the people. He's always tried to run as man of the people. I do so much for these people. Oh, the union guys love me. Oh, the veterans love me. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. He's also, of course, pounding the abortion pulpit. Oh, Bernie Moreno's extreme on abortion. Excuse me. My personal opinion is, if you are not in favor of any restrictions on abortion, you are the extremist, Sherrod Brown. Politico writes, one big asset for Moreno, the undeniable reality that no Democrat would have an easy time in the Ohio Senate race, particularly in a presidential election year. In an interview during his Washington visit last Thursday, Moreno indicated that he's eager to nationalize the race to tank Brown's appeal across the aisle. Quote from Bernie Moreno. Bernie will be on the show first of next week. Or no, actually, Bernie might be on the show tomorrow, now that I think of it. It already is the first of next week, Bruce. The weekend is over. Sorry. He's never had to run. This is Bernie Moreno talking of Sherrod Brown. He's never had to run in a presidential election year where the top of the ticket of his party is deeply unpopular, which he has right now. That's for sure. If Air Force One flies over Ohio, Sherrod Brown is going to hide in his basement and pretend he doesn't even see the plane. Yeah, it'd be interesting, won't it? It'd be real interesting, won't it? If Sherrod Brown shows up, will Joe Biden even show up? Will Joe Biden make a campaign appearance in the state of Ohio? I mean, he did so much for the people of East Palestine, right? They should love him over there. He waited until it was an appropriate time to visit, which coincidentally was after Trump visited and more than a year after the train derailed. That was the perfect time. He got shamed into that visit. Will Biden come back? I mean, hey, Joyce Beatty can invite him back to Linden to show what a terrific job they've done in Linden, ending the violence. Oh, whoops, maybe not. She can invite him to the hilltop. Great job in the hilltop, reducing violence. Maybe not. I don't think she'd invite him to the hilltop to show off the partnership between the Center for Christian Virtue and a local church where they're holding, have their own school there because Columbus City schools are rotten to the core and underachieving. I doubt she'd do that. But it'll be really interesting to see if Biden shows his face in the state of Ohio. If he comes and walks down or stumbles down, falls down the short stairs. And whether Sherrod Brown in his goofy Brillo pad haircut would be there to join him and welcome him. Because after all, Sherrod Brown's voted for 99% of Joe Biden's agenda items in Congress. I bet that 1% is going to get really wide publication or publicity from Sherrod Brown. Well, I didn't agree with the president on this, and I didn't agree with him on this. I didn't agree with him on this. Because the problem Sherrod has is people go buy gas and people go to the grocery store and they see the effect of Biden's policies in their lives. Well, you know where I'm headed this afternoon. Yes, of course you do. It's Monday. I'll be in the offices of Soft Step Carpet and Flooring in Plain City. It's on 161, just down the road from Costco, near the Post Road 33 exit. Hope you come and see me this afternoon. I'd love to find out how I can help you with new flooring in your home. We have all the top brands. We have Anderson, we have Shaw, we have Mohawk, we have Dreamweaver. We've got LVP, which stands for Luxury Vinyl Plank. Looks like wood. Looks like tile. New selections coming in every single day. You're going to love them. And you're particularly going to love how fast we get the product into your home, usually in less than a month, and how much you're going to save because we don't have the big high overhead of other places. Going to love our standard pad too. It's a 6-pound pad. You'll pay for the upgrade. Other places you will not pay for it at Soft Step because we want you to enjoy a soft step on your carpet, right? So we put in a great pad. Quality, dependability, saving you money. That's what we do. Soft Step Carpet and Flooring in Plain City on 161. Email me, brucehooley@gmail.com, or go to my website, brucehooley.com, click on the flooring tab, fill out your information, or stop by the store this afternoon. Soft Step Carpet and Flooring. You, like me, probably got the Amber Alert on your phone on Saturday. If you wonder what happened to the 15-year-old girl from Grove City, who was the subject of that Amber Alert, she was found and is safe, and her 17-year-old boyfriend, who was alleged to have had a gun, who they considered dangerous because he had warrants for robbery and kidnapping, has also been found. He made a social media post that he, quote, he has a bullet, unquote, for the victim. So this Amber Alert ended a lot better than the one we had recently that resulted in the death of the 5-year-old boy. Wild times in Fairfield County on Saturday. Canal Winchester, the sheriff there, Alex Lape, said they got a 911 call in Canal Winchester where there was a bunch of kids in a car. They were driving up and down North High Street, fired a single round, hit a parked car. Who were the 5 in the vehicle? A 16-year-old female, a 16-year-old male, a 14-year-old male, and 2 13-year-old males were arrested. Well, aren't they lucky? They're under 18. Although they didn't do it in Franklin County. That was stupid. They did it in Fairfield County, where they might actually be held accountable for their actions. In Franklin County, they'd be out to shoot up the neighborhood once again, because, of course, it would be, it would consign them to a life of crime if they were actually placed in jail for committing a crime. That's how Shayla Faber, your future Franklin County prosecutor, thinks. She thinks that it is, inhumane to put juveniles in jail for crimes that they commit, because then they learn how to be criminals. Funny thing is, if they've stolen a car, and there were, 10,000 stolen last year in Franklin County, I kind of think they've already proven they know how to be a criminal, and they probably don't need to learn anything else in the Franklin County Juvenile Detention Center, where I have been told reliably by police who have transported juveniles there that they are laughing at the police. I will be out soon to do this again. And in fact, the number of car thefts would tell you that that is exactly what most often happens. But hey, Fairfield County might be a different story. Hope it is, because here's the thing. You will only learn if you are made uncomfortable by the consequences of your actions. That is the whole concept behind the prison system. Why do we put people in prison? Because they'd rather be out. They'd rather be free. And if prison is unpleasant, then maybe they'll change their behavior once they get out so that they don't have to go back in. I don't know when we got away from common sense. Probably when we started electing Democrats locally in Columbus, because the town used to be run by Republicans, but it's totally flipped now. And we are no longer welded to the truth that punishment for crime is the only deterrent, the only one that works. Programs don't work. Counseling doesn't work. It might work with a couple. You can point to some success stories. It doesn't work across the board. It doesn't. The escalating crime numbers show that it does not work. Okay? It just doesn't. But we might hurt somebody's feelings. holding them accountable is now considered to be unkind, or if the perpetrator is a minority, it's racist. So that's where we are. Now, the good news this morning is that Donald Trump's judgment in New York, the bond that he has to put up for the $454 million fraud penalty, for which there were no victims and no proven damaged parties, the $454 million bond has been reduced to $175 million. So the interest on this $454 million was about $112,000 a day. So every 10 days, the judgment was going up by $1 million. Now Trump need raise, sounds like the wrong word to use in this situation, only $175 million. New York appeals court ruling. Say, wait a minute, wasn't he convicted in the state Supreme Court? He was, but in New York, which would you bet any other state would be this stupid? The Supreme Court in New York is not supreme. Okay, there's a court above it. So this is the fifth time that a judgment like this in the Trump lawfare persecution, not prosecution, persecution, has been reduced. We'll see. Can Trump come up with this money? Now you say, well, sure he can. He sold Truth Social on Friday. Didn't you see? Watch the headlines, Bruce. He got $3 billion out of that. He did, kind of, sort of. Truth Social was accepted in a merger and can begin trading as soon as this week on the NASDAQ. It's one of the stock exchanges. Truth Social valued at $5 billion, and a bunch of Trump fans have been buying the stock, and Trump's 58% of the merger should put, or could put, somewhere around $3 billion in his pocket. That's the good news. Here's the bad news. He cannot use that money for at least 6 months to offset a judgment. Why? Because if he pulled all the money out of the stock in the beginning, after the IPO, the initial public offering, the volatility that would introduce to the stock price is such that it's not this is one of the few instances where it's not a Trump, you can't do it because you're Trump. Okay? You can't do this. No one can do this right after they make a windfall off of making their company public. You can't pull all the money out right away. Otherwise, the volatility of the stock price would be such that the investors, the everyday ordinary Joes who are putting their $25, $50, $75 investments into the stock, they would get hurt. Now, as always, there's possibility of a waiver. Will he get a waiver? Don't know. Don't know if he'll get a waiver or not. But it's good news that the judgment has been reduced by more than half. $175 million is still not a small amount of money to come up with. But does this hurt Trump politically? Politically, does this hurt Donald Trump? I don't think it hurts him politically at all. Let's get the opinion of Charlie Hurt of the Washington Examiner as to what this means for Trump and what it shows about the kind of job he did as president. Yeah, that's indisputable, but will it bring crazy liberals off the ledge and convince them that, Orange Man bad is not as bad as shuffling man, stumbling man, bad policy man continuing as president?
Are you ready for an adventure of a lifetime? Journey with me, Mike Gallagher, and Dr.
All right, that'll do it for the first hour of the show. If you want to flip over and watch the rest of it, you got to go to the 989 The Answer Facebook page, or you have to go to the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. We do the first hour on all the socials, but in deference to my employer, we put the remainder of the show on their particular socials. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Take care.